Hello, everybody. Now, there are three main geographical levels which things happen on, and I talk about, and I think you were watching are interested in. There's the global level with massive events like global war, COVID, scamdemic, etc. There are national events, things happening in our nation, the UK, such as the attack on freedom of speech, and mass migration, which of course is affecting all of our lands across the Western world. And there are things that happen on a local level as well. And I've been talking about this a lot. And one of the things that happened that affects local levels that has happened this year that is absolutely appalling was the cancellation of local elections in England for about 6 million people in 9 local authority areas back in May, including Essex, Hampshire, Sussex, Surrey, Norfolk, and Suffolk, the Isle of Wight, and Thurrock. And so there's one other area as well. The Heritage Party, of course, has been pushing back on that. And a number of councils that applied to have their elections cancelled didn't have them cancelled. So they were cancelled in some places, but it could have been more if it weren't for our actions, and particularly in Devon and Kent. We have very strong local activists who have been pushing back against these plans, first of all, to cancel elections. But then the point of cancelling elections is it goes along with this other plan the government has, which they call devolution, but it's actually centralization, because what they want to do is put a Sadiq Khan type figure, a regional mayor or a metro mayor in every area of England, who will have complete control over housing and planning and what happens on farmland and what happens in skills and architecture and society and all these kind of things. And they want to push through this agenda to build 1.5 million new homes just in the next 4 years before the next election, which we don't need. Well, we wouldn't need if there wasn't mass immigration. There shouldn't be mass immigration anywhere anyway. But the point of this is to completely demolish our society, our way of life, our culture, our towns, our cities, our villages. And so this agenda that all goes together, the election cancellations, there's devolution, and what's also called local government reorganisation is part of that scheme. So that's what I want to delve into today, because there is a live consultation concerning one of the counties where they want to do a local government reorganization and then add on top of it a regional mayor that will be a single person that has complete control over extensively weakened local councils, and that is what they're doing. So this is happening at the moment in Surrey. There is a consultation for people who live in Surrey about what they call local government reorganisation. But then, of course, the plan is, so the moment Surrey has one county council, Surrey County Council, and 12 district councils. Now, let's have a look at a map of Surrey. Okay, I'm just going to add this to the stage. This is Surrey. It's outlined here. Well, this is the 1974 borders of Surrey. It's not, Surrey was massacred, as all the local areas were, by Ted Heath in 1974. That's another issue entirely. I mean, Spelthorne shouldn't really be in Surrey. It's part of Middlesex. It's in the traditional county of Middlesex, but it was lumped in with Surrey because most of the rest of Middlesex, most of the rest of Surrey, which is near London, half of Surrey got gobbled up by London. So they dumped Spelthorne in with Surrey. Anyway, that's another issue entirely. But the issue that concerns us here is, sorry, did I say there were 12? I'm wrong, sorry. I said there were 12 districts, but actually there are 11 districts in Surrey and Surrey County Council as well. So there's 12 councils, one county council, 11 district councils. Now, local government reorganisation to create unitary authorities is not bad per se. I don't disagree with it per se. If they dissolve the county council and put the powers into the districts that already exist, that would actually be a good level, a good exercise in empowering local democracy. But that's not what they want to do. So, you know, it's something that could be good or something that could be bad. If they did that, it would be good. But obviously, that's not the whole plan. That's not why they're doing local government reorganisation, because they've asked the councils what they want to do, and they've come up with two different plans. And none of them, or neither of them, are any good. Because rather than just giving all the power to the local districts, which would actually be better without a Surrey regional mayor on top, there are two plans. This is the first of them, is just to cut Surrey in half and merge the eastern 5 districts together and merge the western 6 districts together into 2 super districts, which would then be themselves disempowered by a regional mayor. The other plan, which is marginally better but not really desirable at all, is to split Surrey into 3, with the 4 districts of the east, 4 districts of the west, and 3 in the north, including Spelthorne, that shouldn't actually be in Surrey, as I said. But is to create 3 super districts, 3 unitary authorities, but with a regional mayor on top, who would take the power away from these newly created super districts immediately. Those are the 2 plans which are on offer from the government or from the councils that have been consulted. Now, the thing about this process is the people have not been consulted whatsoever. They can get away with it because now there is a consultation going on, but it's a consultation which is rigged. So if you do answer it, you need to be very savvy about how you answer it, because a lot of consultations, I've looked at many consultations over the years I've been in politics, and most of them are rigged, because the questions that they ask are they are loaded questions that don't allow you to present you know your full opinions. You know, they don't give you a fully open choice, a fully open opportunity to answer. They say, well, there's this option or there's this option. Which one do you want? Well, I don't want either of those options. I want the districts to have power, and I don't want a regional mayor on top of it. If you do that, that's great. Anything else is bringing in a communistic Bolshevik style system with a single person in charge of pushing through Agenda 2030, the mass migration, replacement migration agenda, the climate alarmist agenda, the woke agenda, and the anti-farm agenda. You know, it all goes together with Agenda 2030. That's the purpose of this. So they say it's to empower local people, but the exact opposite is true with the plans that are being presented to us. Nevertheless, there is a consultation, and it is perhaps possible to set forth your opinions opposing these two, but you've got to be very clever how you do it. Let's look at the consultation, and I'm just going to share my screen, which is just take me a second here. Let's just see how we do this. It's bear with me a second, because I've got to click a few buttons to get it. Here we go, nearly there. There we go. This should be on the screen. So this is on the government's website with this new £500,000 Gov Blue Dot UK logo, which is a massive waste of money. But anyway, this is the page, Local Government Reorganisation in Surrey. So you can look down here, and it says the consultation seeks views on the local government reorganisation proposals that we have received from councils in Surrey. Now, this was itself a closed operation. They just asked the local councils who didn't consult properly with local people. I mean, did anyone who lives in Surrey actually get any invitation from Surrey County Council or Elmbridge or Mole Valley or Tandridge or Guildford, Woking district councils to give your opinions about local government reorganisation in Surrey? I don't think you did. And I'm focusing on Surrey here because this is what's happening at the moment, but this is going to happen everywhere. It's going to happen all over the country. This is just the first consultation. There will be consultations later in the year for those areas that had their elections cancelled, and then later on for the other counties where they want to do this as well, until they've got a Sadiq Khan in every county, and we want to stop that, of course. Let's look at this. You click on documents here, proposals for local government reorganisations in Surrey. Well, essentially those were those two maps that I showed you earlier, one with 2 super districts and another with 3 super districts, but they'll both have a regional mayor on top, which is the problem. Now it says, okay, where do we go? These are the 12 councils that they consulted, but they also say, if you scroll down, there are all of these named consultees. These are people or bodies in the area who have a priority. They're given a priority by the government to respond to the consultation. So there's the 12 councils that exist at the moment, neighbouring principal councils in Berkshire, Sussex, Kent, London, etc. They're going to ask all of them what they think, and they've already been allowed their feedback and their opinions to be considered, whereas normal, ordinary citizens haven't. Health bodies, there's these 11 or so NHS trusts. They've asked all of them what they think. Police, fire and rescue bodies, they've asked them. Other public sector bodies, Surrey Hills National Landscape, Safeguarding Adults Board, Transport for London, they get a say. Business bodies, Surrey Chambers, Surrey Institute of Directors, voluntary bodies, education bodies, University of Creative Arts. Probably a load of garbage goes on there. I don't think they're going to actually say anything useful, but there we go. Other bodies, Visit Surrey, okay. National bodies, the Environment Agency, Local Government Association, GMB Union, Unison, Unite the Union. Why are they asking all these unions, these far left organisations, what they think? They're not asking me in the Heritage Party what I think. I'll tell them what I think. But they're not asking me as a priority consultee. We have to do it by responding to the consultation. So how do we do that? Well, we go. Let's go here. It says how to respond. Respond by completing the online survey. Here we go. Oh, here it is. Here's another page that comes up, online survey. Again, it tells you about the 2 proposals in words, which I showed in maps earlier. Give us your views. Okay, so you click on this, and then you have to fill in all of these 3 things. So there's tell us about yourself. Well, that's just going to be your name, address, etc. You can do that. That says required. But then you've got 2 other sections. One is on the proposal for 2 super districts. The other's on a proposal for 3 super districts, and you got to do them both. So the questions in each of them are exactly the same, but you can to give your full opinion, I'll have to fill out the answers to the 9 questions for all of them. So let's look at them and see how biased these questions are. Does the proposal suggest sensible economic areas and geographies which will achieve a single tier of local government for the whole of Surrey? What you say here is no, I want the 11 districts to be the local government areas in the future. You can say that, okay? Will the local government structures being put forward, if implemented, achieve the outcomes described? I guess for most of them, you could say no. Please explain your answer. I think having the 11 existing districts will be best for economic outcomes. Okay, say something like that. Is the proposal for unitary or local government of the right size to achieve efficiencies, blah, blah, blah. So what the government wants to do is only allow new local authorities with 500,000 people or more in them, which means that they will be vastly disconnected from the local electorate, far more than if you just had the districts. And this idea is nonsense because, of course, you have councils that are much smaller than that already, like Rutland, like the Isle of Wight, like East Riding, that function perfectly well. You don't need a massive district for it to provide good services and efficiencies. So again, you can say, no, let's stick with the 11 existing districts. Okay. Again, here's something else. Best value intervention, no, stick with the 11 districts, and so on. You can do that for number 5. And has the proposal been informed by local views? Obviously not, because they've not consulted the public. So you can say that. Does the proposal support devolution arrangement? You could say here, no, or I do not agree with imposing a directly elected regional mayor like Sadiq Khan on the county of Surrey. And when your consultations come up for Norfolk, Suffolk, Sussex, Lancashire, wherever, you can say the same thing when it comes to you as well. Will it engage stronger community engagement? Absolutely not, because they're too big. You need to keep the districts because they're closer to the people. Do you have any other comments on the proposed local government reorganisation in Surrey? You could say, well, you haven't consulted the people. You've only consulted quangos and those who are part of the government quango system, and you're completely ignoring local people who don't want a regional mayor and super districts who want to keep our districts. And we don't agree that we've only got 2 proposals here, none of which have been suggested or put forward by local people. You could say that, something like that. And then you can do the other same for the other proposal. And write the same comments in there, which would be completely justified. Now, you know, these consultations, as I said, a lot of them are rigged, but at least if you do this, you're putting forward your opinion. If you live in Surrey, and you can say how unhappy you are with the fact that you haven't been properly informed as a member of the public. As a voter, you are the people that vote for these people, and yet you haven't been consulted properly until now. And you're very unhappy that there's only 2 proposals come forward, neither of which you agree with, and you want another option, which is to keep the district councils. You don't want the district councils to be dissolved or merged, because they are closer to the people and they are better units in order to provide public services and community engagement to the people. And you certainly don't want a Sadiq Khan type regional mayor imposed on Surrey in the future. So the consultation is there. If you live in Surrey, you know, I'll put a link to this in the places where I can put links in the boxes underneath the video, you know, YT, and obviously my own channel, Right Think, and then Rumble as well. And you can click on them and respond to the consultation. Please do that if you live in Surrey. And if you live in another county in England, look out for the consultations on the gov.uk website concerning your own counties and local government demolition, which is what it really is, but they're calling it local government reorganisation and devolution, but it's actually demolition and centralisation, and it is disempowerment of local people rather than an empowerment. So everything that the government, Angela Rayner and Keir Starmer's regime are saying about this is inverted, of course, because that's what the Uniparty, serving the globalist masters that they have, do. We shouldn't be surprised at that. Ultimately, you need the Heritage Party to be in there with our councillors to be able to properly empower local people. We've got our new manifesto. The draft is already up on our website, but The final version will be released later this week, and then you'll be able to download the PDF document and the summary in full, which has full policies for national government, engagement with the world, and also local government as well. It's very, very good. I'm very excited about our manifesto and the people who support it, who are already with us in the Heritage Party, putting themselves forward wherever they can to stand in elections to turn our councils and our governments back to serving the people, rather than imposing the globalist agenda of the World Economic Forum, which of course is a disaster for local people, which is of course is what this particular version of local government reorganisation from the Labour part of the Uniparty will be as well. So please come and join me in the Heritage Party if you disagree with us, as well as filling in consultations. Get actively involved in politics and stand for your councils as well. There are some new organizations that have appeared over, the last couple of days, last couple of weeks, but they're not actually registered as political parties. So we are registered as a political party. We've been standing candidates for 5 years. And while some people are making interesting noises, positive noises, there's no use if they can't actually stand for elections, whereas we can. So if you want to actually be able to truly make a difference in politics, we're the party you need to join. There's no point in joining a party or a movement or an organization that isn't actually standing candidates and can't, because they're not registered with the Electoral Commission, whereas we are. So that is what I would say about that as well, and something that people have been asking me about. So that addresses that indirectly, and you need to join the Heritage Party to actually make a difference in this by engaging in politics and elections. So hopefully that makes sense, and you will fill in the consultation if you live in Surrey. Look out for those where you are, and continue on fighting about 20 different battles every day, of this, which this is just one of them. There's so much going on which is demolishing our society, that we need to keep our eyes peeled and fight on all fronts. But this is a very important front. And if you've listened to the end, thank you very much. Please join us, and God bless you all.